All right. I'm here with Lance. And if there's anything confessed here, it legally can't be used in a court of law.
Correct. Yeah.
It can't be.
Off the record.
It can't be. I'm
No.
here with Lance Meisenheimer. And Lance has been in the horse show business. I'm going to let him tell you for how long, but a long time, respected by so many of you out there that are watching. I know you have. He's been around for a while. Him and his family have are cornerstones, I believe, in this when we get down to the racking horse part of this. And it's a big thing, being here for a long time. And that's how long you've been at this with horses.
Well, I was born into it. So
Yeah.
my very first outing in life, I was born in March, and in April I was at the spring celebration. So
Well,
so 1985 when I was born. I'm 39. I'll be 40 next year. So I've been doing this my whole life. Born into it. My mom and dad started in the late 70s.
right.
I don't know exactly what year they first started in this, but that's about how long they've been in it. My sister was born into it as well.
Right.
So no other life, I guess, with
Right.
this. So it's just something that we've continued, and now getting into the third generation of Meisenheimers in
Yeah.
the competing here and being involved in the breed, and it's it's been a lifetime thing, but it's just kind of who we are. So obviously know a lot of people at home, but I know a lot of people from all over this great country, and I wouldn't know them without this horse. So I've always wanted to give back to this horse and give the breed back what it gave to us.
Right.
So
And it becomes part of your identity, doesn't
absolutely
it?
does.
It really does. When you
Absolutely
think about
does. There's folks that even at home that I know that they'll always ask about the horses or how
Right.
that's going and kind of thing too. So they like to keep up with it as well. So yeah, it's very rewarding.
it. Yeah. And when you look at this now, and Sharon, I know you have friends that are outside the horse business, and it's sort of getting them to understand what you do and why in the world you do something as wild as you do.
Sure.
And it's hard to do, isn't
Oh,
it?
it is. Well, yeah. I mean, you talk about friends, but even my own wife, having just because coming from she didn't have any of this background at all, and so
Right.
when we first met and started talking, I said, "Now listen, I have horses, but not like what you think normal people have horses like.
No, not a cowboy hat out in the field herding cattle.
And it's a little different. So
Yeah.
just bear with me on this.
Yeah.
But once they understand it and see the good thing with it, and
Right.
it makes it a family affair again, like I said. So it kind of takes a special person to understand the deep involvement that I
Right.
guess that I've gotten myself into
Yeah.
with this.
And this is one of the good things you get is people say, "Well, I bet you make a lot of money at that." That's what they say.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
man, you make a lot of money.
I
at
can
that.
safely say they could budget a double and pay for me next year without an issue. So that means I make a lot of money. No, I don't. I spend a lot of time. I spend a lot of my own money to do this, but that's okay. It's definitely worth it. So
Yeah, I know it's the first thing people say. Man, I bet you make a lot of money showing them horses. It's sort of it's something that people that don't understand.
Yeah, I think they see some of the races and the different
Right.
like that kind of, and I'm like, no, not so much, but it's okay. So
there's difference between two when you get into show horses like this. You get my daughter and son-in-law, growing up, we started showing pacing horses.
Yeah.
Now pacing horses make money because they show, they'll have $1,500, $2,500 on a Saturday night.
Sure.
And they're riding hard. It's very serious.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're riding hard after them. I mean, they're looking at how much money they're going to make. And it's different. You come to a horse show, you think, how much is it going to cost me?
Yeah, that's my dad's got probably my favorite saying in the horse business. He said, if you ever want to be a millionaire in the horse business, you got to start off with two.
Yeah.
And that's probably true.
Well, tell me this, over the years, let's talk about, when we talk about horses, when we talk about what horses cost, good horses, to what they cost, but everything. I mean, bread and milk and Pepsi's going up. But I mean, the cost of a good horse has really changed, unless you happen to get a colt and you hit it off, and you get a good colt that you can go on, then you're always tempted to sell it.
Sure.
But I mean, when you get a good horses sell for good money.
They are. I personally had to deal with this too, kind of way where we're at. Is it worth keeping, or is it worth trying to move on while it's still worth something? I mean, it's still a business.
Yeah.
I still treat it that way. We do as well. But it's probably not the most. It's not a profitable business. But at the same time, some folks have had some good luck with it, and that's good. But no, I think a good horse is still worth a lot of money. And it's worth something to somebody. But the with everything going up and going, everything's kind of the horse. but it seems like the horse value is what's the last one to kind of catch on with that. And I think now we're starting to see where that is. And that's again, a good thing. You know, when it's not a necessity type thing, the market can change a little bit with things like that. And it always goes with your economy, you know, as well too. But for the most part, no, they're about as most expensive they've ever been. And again, I think that's, at the end of the day, it's a good thing. And as somebody that I've got a breeding program, and for that, for me, I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see the broodmare values are higher than they've ever been. I've even in any discipline right now, which is a good sign.
Yeah, good broodmares.
Good broodmares are very important. I think a lot of people don't think about that, but definitely on my mind. And the other thing with the foals then are starting to, the value started to go up, because you would think raising foals, that's, you know, you're selling them. Sometimes people think, oh, you're making a lot of money. Well, by the time you do the math and the time and everything you go get, it's you know, you could sell one for you know, a low 5-figure, and you may have that in it, you know, because obviously stud fees have gotten higher too, all the different things. But you know, at the end of the day, I think it's worth it, as long as it mirrors what true values will all work out in the market of it. So,
you know, it's a big gamble in colts. You know, I think about that a lot. And when we were working with standardbred colts, and my daughter, and she, you know, it's a big gamble. You know, when you take one trying to raise it, and you send it somewhere and get it broke, or you're doing this and working all directions. Man, it's a big gamble.
Oh, it is.
It really is.
It is.
I'm not sure you're not better off to go to Vegas on a Saturday.
It could be,
but I mean, it's a big gamble. But I watch them do it all the time. Well, tell me this: what have you seen when you think about changes? And you have seen changes, generational changes in horse shows. I mean, what are some of the things that stand out in your mind?
As far as in the racking horse industry, you know, when growing up, we maybe had a little more of the we'll call it the 2-horse trailer folk. We kind of took a dive with that, I feel like, and I think a lot of horse in the industries have, not just the racking horse, but a lot of folks did, because you know, again, horses aren't a necessity, and I feel like it got a point in time where it was hard to balance everything, and it still is. As a father now with a big family and trying to do all the things, sometimes that has to be put aside. But the love of the horse and the people in that connection will never go away. And so from what I've seen throughout the years is you know, we'll take highs and lows, but the good thing and the best thing about the racking horse, in my opinion, we are absolutely the most versatile horse in this world. In the breed, we can offer you basically any discipline you would like to fall into with a horse. Now there's other ones that, you know, we could expand into later if we needed, or whatever, with other types of growth. But you know, when you can register a horse racking that can be shown in a speed class, it could be a speed horse, it could be a pleasure horse, it could be a show horse, or even a good trail horse. You know, that's pretty versatile. And I always felt like that's it for the business side of being in this and raising foals, or even just having the horses in it. If you got an avenue to go with the horse, no matter what it's gonna. In my thing as a breeder now, I've come to realize I just want my whatever I raise to go in the where it can be the best. If it's going to be the best pleasure horse, then I'm happy with that. You know, my true love and passion is a performance horse. I've grown up with those. I've trained, you know, and trained for all of my life with that. So that's always been my personal passion. But I just love to see all of the disciplines take off and go bigger. So, for, you know, other things I've noticed is our horses have gotten so much better throughout the year.
That's what I think too. We got sound, and you know, when it comes to checking horses, and I was there when it started. I mean, we used to have horses that had real calluses. I mean, not these fake calluses like they have a little tiny bump on the back. I mean, it was good callus on the front end and from a chain, and I mean, when I remember the 32-ounce knocker boots, and I remember all that stuff, and with walking horses that we had, but I mean, we really have got horses now that we bred until we've got some horses that can really, the natural ability. We bred some good natural horses.
Well, and that's I think some of the biggest I'm going to say past 20, 30 years, probably more with the heavy inspection, especially on the performance horse side. I can really tell you, I think the cream rose to the top.
Right.
The true natural horse got to show,
Right.
which promoted that horse, which led to the breeding of it,
Right.
which made the babies better, in my opinion. And I think
Exactly.
we're now hitting generations of just really, really good bred horses, and that's even going into the speed division too with this.
Yeah.
Not to say, I mean, Spec was a generational horse. I mean, you'll never see another one of those,
Right.
in my opinion. But at the same time, there are so many good speed horses I'm seeing now. So many, and quality of breeding has really shown, and those horses are really showing in the ring now. You can really see. So, you know, I think a lot of people forget about how the importance of good parentage. And the importance of knowing how to cross the right horses. And
it's hard to breed a good mare, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're thinking, I want to ride that thing.
Yeah,
I've
dealt with that for years.
I don't want to breed it. I want to ride it.
Yeah.
And because if I breed it, I just thinking just a minute ago, you know, we just watched Mr. Evolution win a class, and I think I was there when his mom, when that mare gave birth to him standing up.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've had one do that.
And
once,
my dad caught him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think about that little rascal, you know, and I think about how much we liked him, and he's been with good owners ever since we sold him with Amy and Bob, and he's really has had good owners. But you think about horses, and his mama, we don't even know what she was out of.
Yeah.
She came out of Ohio in the back of a truck with shipping fever.
Yeah.
Okay. Sick.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what she was ever bred to. And I was sharing the first time we came down here to show. We'd never been, and we come to show. I showed her in trail racking, and got like an 8th. And I showed her back in speed racking now. Well, we didn't know no difference about nothing. You know, we showed back in speed racking. That's when it's 35-40 head class.
Oh, yeah.
And we still got like a 9th in that. And I took those 2 ribbons home, put them in a shatter box. I got them in a shatter box now, retired the brow band, never cashed a check, put it in there, stapled it inside this shatter box.
That's fantastic.
And then since then, you know, we won the roses with my trail. We've done stuff. I don't even know where that is, but those times that you have like that, you're thinking,
for sure.
You remember that from now on.
Well, that's, I mean, same as Dad. I think the first time they went down in, again, the late 70s, I don't know the exact year, they bought a 2-year-old, and he showed in a class of 50 or 60, made the workout, I think he got 10th, 9th or 10th, but he'll always say that was his favorite ribbon he ever won, you know, and say, you know, so that it's stuff like that, and it's what gets you in, gets you excited, and that's kind of the good thing, and that's what I love to see. I'll tell you this, and I think it's a lot of what your guys' work with the Speed Association and even all the other associations, but I just in awe every time I come to the celebration anymore here, the amount of people that I don't know. And I've done this my whole life. And I'm getting to meet people that are coming in, and it's great to see. And I hope they have that type of enjoyment too. Because I mean, that's really important, I feel like.
Yeah, and I believe there is. I mean, you know, you go through some little lulls of people sort of get, and I watch people, and I'm not saying I have never done. You get a little upset. I didn't get tied this, and so robbed me here, and so. Then you watch them sort of level off and cool down. You know what I mean? Until everything's okay, and it's all natural. I mean, you know, man, Lord, man, it's emotional.
Well, it is.
It really is. And speed horses, you know, I'm just tickled to death what's happening with the Speed Association. I mean, I really am, and I appreciate you and the help the boards give us. I mean, we're just, you know, and we want to help, and that's what it's about. But these speed people are emotional. And they just are. Sometimes performance people seem to be a little more calm in demeanor, especially out in front of everybody. Yeah. But I mean, you know what I mean? It's just like they like it, they enjoy it, and but it's good. So, well, now, where do you work at? How do you make a living to afford this big lavish lifestyle? Okay.
I am the county clerk and recorder of my county, which is Union County, Illinois. So we're in the southern part of the state. But I was elected in 2018. For that, before that, I was a paramedic and worked at the sheriff's office. So I did that for years. But now I decided to run for a county clerk. I say I enjoy it. I do. I love it. Right. It's like any job. There's good days, bad days, and everything in between.
Well, didn't you win some kind of award though recently?
I did. I was pretty humbled to win. I won the Illinois County Clerk of the Year.
Man, that's cool.
That
really is.
It is really neat. It was voted on by all of my peers throughout
Uh-huh.
so there's 102 counties, and there's 6 other election jurisdictions that vote on that. It goes all the way to the city of Chicago and Cook County, I guess, even voted. I don't know how they voted, but from where I'm at, I'm a small rural county, considered maybe medium size, but we're about 20,000 folks in our county. Nothing outstandingly huge. I've got a nice staff, not a big overwhelming like some of the other ones I work with, but and I kind of joke with some of them when we considered we're called I'm called a working clerk. So it's one of those that I some of those folks get into jobs and they think they just you just sit there and you boss. No, we do it all. So but it's a really neat job. Of course, right now, right in the middle of the starting the election, of course, in November. If you've heard, we got an election getting ready to happen. I don't know if anybody's told you that, if you picked up on that or not. But no. So we have pretty consumed with that right now. Cool. So Illinois starts to have early voting going on, and got all that set up and going right now. And so it's kind of hard to take a week right now for me, but but that's okay. And this morning I woke up and did my emails and did all my other stuff and make sure everything's going good. So I'm blessed to have a good staff and that can handle a lot of things.
Well, tell me this: what about wife and kids? Tell me some things.
So married to my beautiful wife Hillary. We both were married before and had kids before. So her first marriage, she had 3 children. She has a Ryder who's a senior now in high school, which is hard to believe, but we're looking at colleges and doing all that kind of stuff now. So that's
it's a big thing.
It is, and super good kid. He works at Burger King, and he loves it. And a lot of people say, "I saw Ryder at the drive-thru. He took my order or whatever." So he's doing good. So, but good kid. And then Racer, her other son, is in 8th grade, and he's a hoot. The kid probably he's one of those that likes to test his mom a little bit.
Right.
He's gotten better now, but wasn't the best at turning in his homework. He just didn't feel like it was that important to him at that moment. But doesn't mean he's not intelligent. He's scary intelligent. He's got, I don't know how many Rubik's cubes. I don't even know how they made these kind of, but he'll solve them in no time. It's blows my mind. So and then she's got a daughter that's in 5th grade, Charlotte, and she's an absolute precious and just love her to death. And then my daughter Eva's from my first marriage. She's in 6th grade now, which is hard to believe. But she's an absolute sweetheart. She's going to stay home this week because she's got a big play. She wanted to get into acting and play, so now she's in our junior college is putting a play on. So she's preparing for all that. So she's doing great. And then we have Rex, who's 3 before November, and the baby of 5, let me just tell you, that's the one you want to stop on. He's a handful, but he's an absolute godsend. Love him to death. He's just a funny kid, and truly blessed with him as well. And he started pre-K now, and he's pretty excited. Last night he FaceTimed him, and he's decided to be Hulk for Halloween. So he had the Hulk smash on everybody and jumped from the couch and everything. So he's got it down, so he's ready for that. But no, we're I've got a great family, and like I said, they all enjoy and they understand kind of the lifestyle of this now and everything. But no, we've been like I said, very blessed, man.
Tell me this: when you think about marriage, okay, and I would say you're happily married. I don't want to speak for you.
No, absolutely.
But what kind of advice could you give if there's somebody that if you're giving a young man, not a young man advice on being happily married?
So just the other night, the kids, we were all sitting at the table and we were talking, and this kind of got brought up in a situation. We told them, I said, listen, if you're going to listen to anything that your mom and I are going to tell you, is that if you're going to marry somebody, you got to find your best friend. And I think that's the absolute truth. Someone you can laugh with, someone you can share everything with, someone that you just feel absolutely comfortable with, that understands you. And respects who you are and respects things you do, and you got to work as a team. And I think
somebody you like.
So my wife, I'm very supportive of everything. And at the same time, she's taken on, like, we needed more stuff to do, but this is what she and I do. We just load our wagon and go. But she's now the head cheerleading coach for the high school, and so she's been doing that. So I became the bus driver for the cheerleaders this
Yeah.
year by default, but that's all right. I enjoy it, and so, but no, we just like to have fun, have a good time, and you know, I think that's the most important thing. Everything else just takes care of itself. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's something I've learned and definitely learned in life, and
Makes sense.
it is, and like I said, we're just I think we're in the right same frame of mind with things, and a lot of
Right.
things we just enjoy each other, and and I will say it's a hard week. She's not going to be able to make it down this week, but
Right.
that's okay. You know, she
Yeah.
understands and I understand.
Yeah.
So we just
Well, when we talk about advice, we're talking about advice. In order to do what you're doing, raise a family like you're raising, a large family, okay, like you're doing. When we talk about flat money, talk about money, financial, being able to do things and live and not be being able to do it.
Sure.
What kind of advice could you give a couple?
Sure. Absolutely stay in your means the best you can. Same time, you can't take it with you, so enjoy it. So find the right balance. I mean, there's every situation's different. I mean we've had to make adjustments for sure with things being higher and different things. I was actually just talking to someone today about earlier. We were talking about health insurance, and I was telling how much it comes out every. I got to pay quite a bit every month for health insurance, and just like it's one of those things. But what are you gonna do? So there you just find the right balance of things, and we try to both be creative and responsible with different things, and other little deals like once horse showing's over, after about in a couple weeks, I'll get back home and I got to start getting in shape because I've been a basketball referee for now 20 years. It'll be my 20th year being a state official, and so I do a lot of varsity boys and girls.
You seem
basketball.
Like you would be good at that. You're a real stickler for the rules.
I am,
and I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch you, and I've been watching you for years. I think it's really cool. I mean, my wife says I'm not, but I mean, she says,
well,
why do you have to do something you're not supposed to do? So
I think it's like anything. I think if people just understand that's just how you are and that's how you treat things, and if it works out well with that, it's one of the things. I guess, like, again, kind of a glutton for punishment with different things in life.
Right,
so
right.
But
I believe that too, and I think that's I mean, being able to follow those things and do so. And one of the things too is, like you said, stay within your means if you can.
Yeah.
And know that the hardest challenge I have is there's things that I'm 65. Okay, so I mean, when I look at stuff, it's just because I really want something, I don't get it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
and I argue all the time with vehicles. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
we know she's got a vehicle and I've got a vehicle, but I think I want a Chevrolet Spark. I had one. Okay. And I'm 270 pounds, and you think I really love it though, okay? And I feel like I can lift it up, move it around if I need to. But I mean, but the only time you get 45 miles a gallon, I had one, put 80,000 miles on it, loved it. But I'm wanting another one. They quit making them probably because they had problems. but I'm gonna get a 5-speed this time.
Yeah.
But I've already took about a year and a half thinking about it. Okay, thinking about it like it's a major lifetime investment. But I think about that a lot of times, and I think I would really like to get one, but I don't know if and it's probably $200 a month payment. You know what I mean? But I think, well, and I'm thinking it's a hard thing.
Oh, it is.
Man.
Well,
I think I'd like to have it.
You kind of personally, and our deal is we have one car payment. We don't. So, but my truck's a 2004. If I've taken care of it, and I have, and I take care of whatever it needs, but as long as it does everything, and it doesn't cost me more than the payment would on a new one. Right. It's going to stay around, and everyone kind of joked and laughed with me about that. But my truck's paid off, and that's the best truck I own.
Yeah.
My other one, I've got another truck I drive around for my daily driver. Same thing. It's an 04 Ford F-150. It's paid off. It does the job. We bought a newer van, but we needed a nice for our family and everything. So that's our payment now, and so I understand. So we try to like I said, that's one of those things. Stay in your means with different things, and
a car is never an investment until you get it paid for.
We had a car dealership for a long time. For a family did own a car dealership, and yes, I can tell you, that's one of the biggest things you spend that you'll lose on.
Right.
At least sometimes real estate you can usually get your money back or even more. That's an investment. There's other things you can. not too many cars have owned it.
It's just not going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, to replace like the diesel dually truck, if anyone went out and priced one, it's as much cost more than my first house. So
well, you think too. I mean, I know people. If you got a nice horse trailer with a living quarters, we're 75, 80, or $100,000.
Easy.
Then you're driving another $180,000 to $100,000 truck.
Easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you're going down the road. You got $200,000 before you get to the horses in the back. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I know.
And here you're doing it to have fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really, you know, I think about that a lot, and you know, now all we do is my daughter has race horses, but I mean, and I have donkeys, which are very easy to take care of. Okay.
Sure.
I've not bought a bag of feed for them in 5
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but I mean, I think about it, and I enjoy what we're doing. I enjoy watching. I enjoy, you know, seeing what goes on. But the rules, when I think about stuff financially, is really been able to try to watch that end of that thing, and the biggest thing is a car. I mean, people go down for something they absolutely can't afford and can't pay for. And you think, and I've known people that didn't have a car that wanted a car, and I said, if you can't even afford the car, you ever thought about the insurance and the taxes and the time you get done with all these things on this? And again, I believe a car is nothing till you get that sucker paid for. And once you get it paid for, a while back, my mom, she wanted a new car, and she has a car that's a couple years old and it had like 4,000 miles on it. And she said, "I want a new car." And I said, "Mom,
it is."
I said, let's do this. I said, and she didn't know much on her car because she's had payments made up for next year.
Sure.
You know, I said, let's go pay your car off. So we went and paid her car off and got the title and everything. And then she got saying, this car's not that bad. You know,
yeah.
Every once in a while she'll sort of talk about it. And
I
said, man, you have to think about trying to make that payment every month.
Sure. You know, that's what, you know, and I guess just growing up, I was always blessed. I never needed anything by any means, but I think that was something instilled that, you know, within your means of doing something. And we had nice things, but you took care of them and you appreciated them. And I think that speaks a lot to the way I was raised. And I think I've carried that on. And, you know, just we're talking about my stepson that's a senior. You know, I had a car that I gave him. I had a Honda Accord that I drove for years. Just a nice little car, nothing fancy, but great. But it's paid off, and so I gave that to him, and he pays the insurance on it, which I'm glad, because that's not cheap for right now. If anybody else is, which Dad's been in insurance, so that's what, and I give him enough hard time about that. But hey, it's just around. It's the way it is for everybody. But yeah, no, just trying to instill that, and I think we're doing a good job with it. Every once in a while, I think sometimes my wife and I'll stop and say, you know what, we're doing all right. You know, there's been a lot of, we could be a lot worse things going on. You know, you see families dealing with sickness and different things and everything. And so sometimes just step back and humble yourself, look at the big picture of where you're at in life. So,
you know, if you know something about insurance, okay, let me share with you my thing. Okay. My dad wouldn't carry insurance on nothing. Had buildings burned down, he wouldn't carry insurance. He's never had a homeowner's policy in the whole life.
Really?
When he passed away, he still never known homeowner's policy. Never known him have fire insurance on the house, nothing anyway. But whenever there was a fire, my uncle was the fire chief at that time. He'd have the truck parked in front of his building. He'd be up on top of it trying to make sure it didn't burn. But I mean, I think about insurance, and I've had a tree for 25 years. Now, I'm going to be careful how I share this, James. Okay? Enormous big oak tree up behind our barn. Okay? I got an older barn. It's not that nice of a barn anyway. This tree has had but one job, is to fall on that barn. Okay? All right? So we cut a road in front of it, sort of cut it down at the roots a little bit. We're thinking this tree is going to fall on this barn. We're going to get us a new barn. Okay, you know, we're going to, because I carry good insurance. I don't know who you were, but we worked with Erie. Erie's always been great with me. Costs a little more, but always been great.
Sure.
So we always talk about that tree. Man, we can't wait till that tree falls on that barn. It's going to fall on that barn. And man, I mean, every storm we're saying, has the tree fell? Has it? No, 25 years.
Yeah.
Has the tree fell? No tree not fall. The other day, big storm come through in our area. Big storm come through. Oh, wham. We're all thinking hot dogs. We get a new barn. That tree fell directly between every barn we have. Okay? I mean, directly between everything. The limbs just seemed to miss everything perfectly. And I said, this dadburn tree had one job, fall on that barn. And that's just, we've been a little brokenhearted about that. Every time we look up there and see that big.
You know what? You got a barn.
Yeah.
So, you know what?
We would rather have a new barn.
Well, that's all right, but you still got a barn. So there's somebody that would love to have your barn somewhere. So, you know, you can always look at that.
We were still a little brokenhearted about it.
I get it.
The whole family's all talking about, man, did you see that tree?
Yeah.
It fell right between the barn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
good.
my dad never would carry insurance. He was all, and then, you know, he would drop and go to liability on stuff, on cars and stuff like that. And I'm thinking,
I couldn't. As soon as the week after I did it, that's when something would happen. Exactly. That's just the way my luck works.
I had one thing I didn't have insurance on was I bought a new 4-wheeler, and I had it sitting outside the window. I'm in the living room in a chair on a Christmas Eve, and I didn't have insurance on it. I thought I did, but I didn't. And they stole it. A guy stole that thing. I left a key in it. Anyway, he stole it on the Christmas Eve night. I was sitting there in the chair and thought I heard something. And then went outside and seen the tracks in the snow where he took off up the road and sold that thing 5 times before I got it back. You know, 5 times they sold it.
Yeah.
And finally, and I did get it back finally and still got it. That was in 2006.
Well,
still got it.
About 2006 or 7, we were down here, actually Murfreesboro, and the Pro Trainer Show was at Murfreesboro there at the university. And Dad was judging. Mom used to play the organ. She was playing the organ for the show, and I was the ringmaster. Just kind of help out in one of them shows, you know, we weren't showing, he was judging, so we did all the other things, you know. But anyway, it was Daytona Bike Week. It was the same thing as that spring. Right. And so Dad and I had motorcycles, and so we just bought a brand new 06 Ford F350. It didn't have 3,000 miles on. Had a cargo trailer, and we had our bikes in there, had a couple Harleys, and we backed it up right there. That used to be a Howard Johnson, but as soon as you get off of 231 right there in Murfreesboro, there's a little that's where they kept us at. So anyway, we backed up to a pole thinking, well, they won't cut the locks and get that down.
Right.
This will be fine. So go out the next morning after we park it, and there's just a pile of glass. That's it. Truck, trailer, everything gone.
Man.
So long story short is they found the truck 29 days later in Chicago. And on the day 30, we would have gotten paid out for the whole truck. But 29 days is when they found it. Yeah. And so found the truck, trailer, and the bikes were gone. Now those were gone. You know, those were chopped or whatever. So, but yeah, no, we got that. So we had to get all rewired and get a new window. But it's set in a Cracker Barrel parking lot, I think, for I don't know how many days of that. We don't know, but that's where they found it and said, it's been sitting there a while. We were wondering if
that's pretty cool.
So as soon as you wouldn't have something like that, things like that happen. But
I know I watch way too much YouTube and stuff. But I mean, I was watching now. In a lot of places in the city, people leave their windows down.
Really?
Keep anybody busting them out.
Well,
and then they say what they do now is because it don't take them long to figure it out, where people think they put their stuff in their trunk, and they'll be all right, and they'll bust out the back window and pull that seat down, and reach and get stuff out of the trunk, and they can do it so they showed it on video, and they're doing it so fast.
Oh yeah.
You know. It's just it's a gamble.
It is, but life brings all kinds of things that you don't really prepare for and think about, and some of those things like that. But just as soon as you need it though, that's usually, or if you got rid of it and need it, that's where the insurance would work. But
it really is. Lance, I tell you, I appreciate it. Enjoy talking to you.
No problem. Appreciate it.
It's good.
We appreciate what you do too for the breed. The dashes are obviously big parts as well in this. I really, like I said, when you guys took over the Speed Association last year, I knew we were going to be destined for good things and big things, and you've worked really, really hard.
We're coming on.
You've worked, and you can definitely tell. There's a lot of, seems like everybody's in good spirits, and we're doing good things and big things, and I'm again. This horse has given me so much. I just feel like that's my part to do, to give back to it, and I've my second stint as president, but I've been on the board now for I don't know how long. So it's obviously important. I've always just wanted to leave it better than when I received it, and that's always been my goal with anything. And with I've probably, like I said, I've loaded my wagon a little much, because I'm on the TWEBA. I'm the Illinois representative for TWEBA, and I'm on the executive committee for TWEBA. So, but that's been a very good thing, I think, for the Rack Horse breed as well. Of course, Billy Strickland's on the TWEB executive committee as well with me, and he and I have worked real hard to incorporate the walking and racking and getting us a seat at tables with discussions of things that we probably couldn't have.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to set us up for a lot of other things in Destin. And again, we all are obviously looking down the barrel of some bad things right now, but if you'd have told me a year or two ago we'd have been looking as good as we have been and as prepared as we have been for this kind of stuff, I'd have had a hard time believing that. But a lot of, in the winter when no one's thinking about horses or that, we've been busy working on this kind of stuff. I feel, I know some folks have had some grumblings with, some extra fees or things like that, and I get it, but if we don't all stick together, it doesn't. That new rule will shut down just horse showing, basically. Yeah. And so we got to stick together.
Yes, sir.
We got to pull our resources together and fight this fight, because in my mind we've not done anything wrong, and if we don't fight for what we believe in and what we've got here, what are we doing?
Well, and I think when we talked about even inspection and things on horses, I mean, if you didn't have slap idiots. And I don't like to use that word a lot. No. But if you didn't have slap idiots in the middle of the trying to mess us up, and that's some of their goals. Some of the people's goals are just to mess us up.
Sure.
They're not to help us or have a better horse in their ring, because we all know, if we've been in this long enough, how to have a better horse.
Yeah.
And what is a better horse and what horse is just not good.
Yeah.
I mean, used to, and when I was young and shown, I mean, you didn't have very good horses second way, because they done sounded up and got off in the back. First way, you'd have some bad cats.
Yeah.
You ride them 1-2 laps second way, and you get them in on the grass. Now, second way, we got better horses second way than we had the first way.
For sure. No, they finished. Like I said, again, we go back to the just obviously better breeding, better training.
Yeah.
Just a lot better, I think. Going back to your very first question, about 20-30 minutes ago, but we have really progressed the correct way. And if you want my opinion, I do think when the government really started coming into our horse shows and stuff like that, I've always said I don't think it was the worst thing to happen, because there was a problem years and years ago, and there was a problem, and I'm glad to say, but I really do believe we've fixed that problem, and we've self-governed ourselves into that. I hate that it came to that, but that's all we can do. And at the same time, is all we can change is the future. You can't go back. And so when we're making good strides and progress to keep good horses in and promote the right horse like you're talking about. And I think that's all starting to come out, and
I'm excited about the future.
I am too. And like I said, I just again, I want to leave it better for my kids or whoever's, and so one day we'll get there, and I'd ready to, and I've had to remind people of this, when sorry, big semi pass this. I've had to remind people of this before too. We were talking about some people getting bent out of shape. It's a horse show. My goal is to make sure we got another one, so you can redeem yourself. And I feel like us concentrating on the future, us concentrating on protection of the sanctity of this horse and its true talent. But I don't think a lot of people expected the horse to be better than it was even 20, 30 years ago, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
I really thought they would fall. And what they didn't believe, what they didn't really factor in is just how talented these animals are, and how just good people have gotten involved in this and have promoted it the correct way and bred the right horse and made it this horse more natural, because they have been. And I think a lot of people don't understand how natural it doesn't. I get it. When you first see it, it probably looks a little foreign. I understand that. But at the same time, these things are bred to do that, and they live to do that. And I've had horses that just really just love their job, and that's it's fair to them, and it's not fair.
The lick has changed.
Absolutely.
Okay, the lick has changed, and I got everybody's got a certain type of horse they like, but I like it. Watch that flowing horse sitting there, man. And a good racking horse. I'm telling you, a good one. I love to watch a good racking horse. Oh yeah, when that sucker's racking, and I like a good walking horse.
You give me a good horse in any breed, you can watch. I just think any horseman can pick out a good one in any breed, if you want my opinion. And I think there's just something. You're right. There's something to that. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you right now. I think we've been blessed to see McGregor. I think I would put him up against
Exactly.
about any other past
Yeah.
world grand champion,
Right.
and that's saying something because we've had some
Yes,
great ones.
yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And the same justified honors, I feel like in the
Right.
walking industry, I've told people, I said, you know, I've seen a lot of great ones throughout my years. I've
Yeah.
never hardly missed a walking celebration either, but I said that one, he's probably one of the best ones I've ever seen too. But you know what? He didn't get in this year, that whole mess with
I
that.
know
But
it.
you know what?
Yeah.
Cavender showed out. That sucker's
exactly.
good too. So I mean, they just keep coming. And I
Yeah.
think if you see the young classes now too. I mean, even last night, if you saw the 3 or 4 year old class in here, my
Yeah.
goodness, there was a bunch of good ones.
Good
I mean,
ones.
and then even like I said, it goes all the way to pleasure. Our pleasure horses are really good. Have you just stopped and really looked how good?
Sitting there just clicking.
Yes.
Man, just clicking. Just
Exactly. And you know, as a judge, when I'm judging, especially like a trail pleasure or western pleasure, I'm looking at the first thing I look at is would I want to ride that horse on all day somewhere on a trail or wherever we're going. Is that what I want to? I'm not pacing around. He's not I'm not having to fight him and all that kind of stuff. He's just doing his job, and that's really easy to find now. Used to you can look for that and judge off that. Well, your top contenders are all looking that way now, and so.
It's a thin line, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, really, people don't know when and you and I both know you got 7 minutes to judge them horses.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 minutes.
Well, and you got to watch them all in that time.
You got to watch them all 7 minutes. And you got to pick them out. And when I judge, a lot of times I could pick my best horse when it came in, and my worst horse when it came in, and really I had to fill in the middle.
Yeah.
Unless something happened.
I've always said the top 3 and bottom 3 are usually my easiest ones.
That's exactly.
The middle ones are the ones and I think a lot of people don't understand that sometimes if someone goes by and they're flat winning the class, I just check, you're still good.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to be judging more on the middle just to make sure, because you know what, they paid their entry fee too, and they deserve to be tied where they should be tied. So I think that's something that's important as well.
Challenge.
Yeah.
It is. Lance, appreciate you.
John,
I really
appreciate
do.
everything
I really
you
do.
do.
Anything we can do for you, all you got to do is let us know. If it's something really hard, we'll get it over to Janice.
That'll work.
She'll handle hard work.
I like
She's
that.
good at. I tell people all the time, if it's something she can pack in cold or wood, or she's tough.
If she's put up with you that long, I'd say she can do about anything.
I was thinking when you talked about how old you are, I said, we've been married Saturday. Will be our anniversary, 40 years. We've been married 42 years.
You were wrong.
42 years. I mean,
I'm glad you got
it.
You'd have been in trouble.
I was just a baby when she got me. But again, I appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.